We are Ole Miss Rebels. As Mississippi's flagship university, we dig deeper, see farther, work harder. We pioneered human organ transplants. We helped prove Einstein's theory of gravitational waves. We are conducting life-changing research that solves the problems of today. We are Ole Miss, transforming lives and the world.
Welcome to the POMcast with Stephen Willis. Now we're going to do things a little different. We are going to provide an honest look at Ole Miss athletics for the fan, by the fan, and of the fan. That is what we do. Hell be to me. I'm just kidding. Tune in for some Ole Miss sports news. We're going to give it to you straight. Yeah, right now. The POMcast starts now. It happens now. Holy cow. Listen to me. It's starting. Well, it's going to start right about now. All right. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to the POMcast. I'm your host, Stephen Willis. Right here all the way from the palatial Central Florida studios. Basically, we're still trying to figure out how everything works. We're still doing a lot of testing. We're still doing all that while trying to inform you at the same time. So as you can see, a little bit different look today to the show. And, we're testing out our pre-roll ads that we are going to sell and run eventually. And you've already, heard the mid-roll ads that are going to be available as well. Day 4 of spring practice in the books. We're going to talk about that today. Ole Miss postponed a game with North Alabama. That was scheduled for last night. It's now going to be on Monday night. So it's going to be North Alabama, then Alcorn, then Arkansas. So the same rest time between Alcorn and Arkansas as before. Now the game is going to be played on Monday, and you get the benefit of being able to do that because Florida is a Thursday, Friday, Saturday series. Again, the rotation for this weekend is expected to be Gunnar Hoagland, Doug Nikhazy, Derek Diamond. So that should be the rotation for that. Again, my name is Stephen Willis. I am the host of the POMcast. That's the show you are watching currently or on demand as well. So watch it at your leisure. But we are on Twitter at The Rebel Walk and TheStephenWillis.com. Well, basically TheRebelWalk.com and The Stephen Willis. We are on, let's see, what's the word I'm looking for? We are on Facebook at facebook.com/POMcast. We're on YouTube at Positively Ole Miss. Hit the bell for notifications. You'll always know when we are going live. And we are on Twitch at Positively Ole Miss, all one word. Now, if you enter the stream at any point and put anything in the chat function, it will show up here. You'll be able to interact, and you see your message on the side of the screen. We have it up in front of us as well, so we'll be able to see it all. Even if it runs off of this screen, we'll be able to go back and get it. And that's a way you can participate in the show if you want to. We're doing tests. It might change a little bit from time to time, but we hope by the end of April everything is ready to go. That's been our stated goal all along. The end of April, we should be good to go. So there's going to be hiccups. Hopefully, we get them out of the way now, and then once we start April, we're off and running. But we have the show in good shape at the moment. We're ahead of schedule, but there's always new stuff that can come up, new ideas that can happen, and we're just looking for a way to basically make it stick. But again, also, if you're interested in audio, we have audio. We have a podcast available as well. It's on Stitcher, Spotify, Google Podcast, Apple Podcast, SoundCloud, TuneIn Radio, iHeartRadio, and Pandora. We're also on numerous smaller podcatchers. But if we decided to release them all, we'd be here the whole time. This is only a 30-minute show. And that should be... Yeah, I think that's about it. Welcome to the POMcast. We're going to talk a little bit today about spring practice. Yesterday was practice number 4 of spring practice, and somebody is standing out and is making the rounds. And I'm excited about that because I've been big on him since he signed in 2019. We're going to talk a little bit about the North Alabama postponement and what that means going into Arkansas maybe. Eventually, when after the series, we're going to hit it and really in earnest on Saturday with Chris Muller. When we do the instant reaction for that, you'll be able to interact with the show as well over there. Like I said, there's going to be hiccups. It's going to happen. But we're going to get them fixed, and we're going to figure out a way to do this. So this is going to be a very user-friendly experience. So I'm excited about it. You should be excited about it. And, man, I'm just fired up. So spring practice, it started to come out that Dannis Jackson, in shirts and shorts, was kind of doing what he wanted to do out there in spring practice. And everybody talks about the shirt and shorts warriors. It's different when pads go on. Everybody knows that. And we, I think it was the Talk of Champions podcast, and Bradley Sowell got to go to practice. So he was kind of talking about that. And he went on to say, the whole spiel where, like, some people are basically shirts and shorts warriors, but when pads go on, it's all different. So I was curious because I've always been a huge Dannis Jackson guy. Well, yesterday, Ole Miss Sports released on Twitter a bomb thrown, and everybody was focusing on the Matt Corral spiral aspect of that video, which I understand. I mean, it's a great class. It was a great video. But the thing that I noticed right off the bat was how much of a confident catch that was. Catching it at stomach height with your hands over your shoulder at full speed. It's an amazingly difficult catch. And it wasn't something where you cradle it in. It was something where it was hands. And the point of this is, if the light has come on for that guy, if the light has come on for Dannis Jackson, we are all in for a treat. Especially in this offense. He has Mike Wallace-like ability and speed. And if you have that to go along with what's going on in the slot, if he can play one of the outside positions, and we do not substitute very much. And he was behind Elijah Moore last year, so he kind of got lost in the shuffle. But he didn't appear whenever Elijah went away. It was, in the bowl game, it was Jaden Jackson and John Rice Plumlee. Jaden Jackson came on later on against LSU. And Jonathan Mingo kind of started the game in that position. Because remember, and of course you can go back to last year with the Boot Camp the Offense segment. If you go back and just take a look at it, the two main focal points of this offense are going to be the slot receiver and the tight end. Those are the two weapons of this offense. Now, the outside guys, there's different roles for them to play as well. I'm not trying to discount them through this process. But if Dannis Jackson can play one of the outside, one of the things the outside receivers do, besides blocking's overly important, and that's the reason people like Jonathan Mingo, Dontario Drummond, like big guys are sitting out there, are the blocking responsibilities. But that's also double move central. That's why Braylon Sanders had such a big end of the season last year. That's why Braylon Sanders is such an important cog in this offense, because he's proved it. He's got the hands, he's got the speed, he's got everything. If he could just stay healthy, there's something he could really grow into that role quickly. But with Dannis Jackson, it's on a different level. There's a different level of speed from that position. There's a different level of dangerousness and explosiveness from that position. If he can handle the other stuff, and the other stuff is unbelievably important for this offense, understand that. And you can't just put him in whenever you know you're going to go deep. He needs to be able to do the blocking so the double move is effective. He has a chance to, like the clipboard throw. Nobody talks about really the fact that Elijah Moore was open by 20 yards. There's going to be situations like this where he's open by 20 yards. And you have to double him. You have to respect that speed. You have to shade him with the safety, and all of a sudden that opens up the middle of the field for the slot receiver and the tight end, and doing all the things that we want to do. It's kind of a major big deal. And if he has a big camp, and now wide receivers like Braylon Sanders and Jonathan Mingo have been down in the early part of spring practice, that provides a lot of reps for younger guys like Dannis Jackson, honestly. And it sounds like he's making the most of them, because you're not into game planning and you're not putting all this special stuff in the spring. You have a chance where you can actually coach. You can actually improve. Again, spring practice is not about the 11. If you're looking at it about the 11, you're doing it wrong. It's about individuals knowing what they have to do to get better and getting a little bit better. It's about improving the sum of the parts. That's what the 11 is about. It's the sum of the parts of all 11. The spring is about improving what that number is. Taking little things. Oh, this jab step worked against Mississippi State. Maybe I should practice that moving forward. And all of a sudden, you're doing that, and it's in your normal bag of tricks. Because, repetition, muscle memory, that's all very important. And if you do things the wrong way and are allowed to do things the wrong way, it's going to become muscle memory as well. So Ole Miss, having the number of coaches they have, I think they're running 2 fields during spring. I'd love to see what that looks like. Unfortunately, I can't. But whenever we are allowed to attend practice again, I intend to that's one of the questions I intend on asking is, what does the double field look like? Now, Saturday is going to be a different animal. We're planning on doing a Saturday practice instant reaction. What we saw, everything, I think some reporters are going out there. It's going to be really cool. It'll be the first time that we've seen a Lane Kiffin practice. And honestly, I expect it to look a lot like Orgeron. I expect it to look, because that's all from Pete Carroll. What we are learning is basically the mix of what makes a head coach. Pete Carroll did 75% of the work for Lane Kiffin. Now, it might have been tweaked by 15-20% by Nick Saban. But Nick Saban didn't have the effect that so many people think he did. It's a weird situation. Everybody wants to give Nick Saban credit for everything and the benefit of the doubt, and like Bill Belichick, the pixie dust and everything. No, this looks like a Pete Carroll joint. A lot of this looks like the Orgeron years, and other than just incompetence, there's some things that he did really well. Lane Kiffin is learning how to take that to the next level. We are going to take a short break. When we come back, we are going to hit the press conference highlights from the first spring practice. That's Jonathan Mingo and Tavius Robinson and Lane Kiffin and all that good stuff. But stick around.
10% of us get enough daily exercise.
And that number is dropping.
Nearly 30% of us are overweight or obese. We spend 6 hours a day in front of a screen.
As a result, we now have a shorter life expectancy than our parents.
But give us the right start in sports, and we'll never stop.
Learn how at active4life.ca.
Hey, this is Stephen Willis from Positively Ole Miss. We're almost done with this break. We'll be back with good information quite soon.
The military has been in every generation of my family, and so has VA. It wasn't easy for my dad after Vietnam, but VA helped him and my mom get the home they'd always wanted. My grandpa's been coming to VA since World War II. They even helped him lay to rest one of his battle buddies from Normandy. And me, I followed in their footsteps and served with pride. And now that I'm out of the military, the GI Bill's helping me with school. Every generation of my family has served, and VA has served us all.
All right, welcome back. Turn that headset off so I don't get any mixed minus in my ear. Again, thank you for joining us. The first segment, we went over spring practice a little bit and how big it is that rumors starting to come out, thanks to Bradley Sowell and Talk of Champions, by the way, of Dannis Jackson having a huge spring, and that was just expounded on yesterday when Ole Miss football released that information about Dannis Jackson. Before we move on, I do want to talk about the Rebel Walk. You can see the name, the Rebel Walk. Let's see. I always guess the wrong way. It's over here. Evelyn and the team do a fantastic job. And what it does, it provides a subscriber level experience for just the everyday regular fan, and it's done in a fun way. So if you want to follow Ole Miss and have fun doing it and not give in to all the angst and anxiety that is a part of the subscriber level media, because we've all lived through the last few years of the media. There's no getting past it. Evelyn and the Rebel Walk do a fantastic job. So go over to therebelwalk.com and start enjoying following football again. Anyway, what we want to do, my voice cracked a little bit. I haven't done that in about 25 years. What we want to do, we want to do the press conference highlights. That's about 4 minutes long. And when we come back, we'll talk a little bit about what they say.
Okay, so we were off a day with projected storms Saturday. We went on last Friday because of that, and track meet potentially being moved to the indoor. So we went Friday night, which was good just for a different time with them, but did put them back-to-back practices and then a longer break. So back to work. We're struggling with some injuries, which is normal a lot of times. As you get back to work, into practice, football movements, and trying to get everybody's reps. So we'll keep pushing along.
Just working on being more consistent, bringing more of a dog mentality out of me. Just working on being the leader in the group. Just trying to work on everything, just working my fundamentals, just working my consistency, just getting my mentals and stuff right, and having the mindset of a dog.
Definitely a lot better than it was last year. I mean, as the practices go on and, having a full off season and all that, I understand the game more, and the plays, I can read the plays a lot faster now. So day by day, things are getting better for sure. So
he's done well. I think he's kind of going, which is normal. He's a returning starter now, which he's never been. So, now you kind of, expect more of him, and, instead of just playing quarterback now, especially with a lot of guys out, he's got some newer people running around out there. So lining those guys up and helping those guys and having a better understanding of the entire offense instead of just what he needs to do, has been a good progression for him.
You just got to be the next man up. We got to keep the standard up. Braylon, Drum, Dannis, Jaden, Quay, JP, They all got good talent. We're going to keep the standard. Everybody going to get the ball this year. And when the ball thrown us, we just got to make a play when our name is called.
Mainly just coming to every day, having a lot of passion and energy, and just being physical with everything we do. Shedding blocks, all that stuff, thudding, just bringing physicality and energy to every day is the main thing we're looking for.
Well, we have people that do that. That's why you have a general manager and have personnel people, and that's why we've created a program like the NFL, knowing that, there are different. It is not the old days where, a lot of programs all you did was recruit high school players, and you have junior college players, you have grad transfers now, and you have normal transfers. So that's a lot to look at. It's really why your personnel department becomes more valuable than it ever was before. So, those guys, we bring it up in staff when guys find guys that went in and cut them up and watch them and research them. But also it's different than like free agency, really, because you're so limited in your spots. You can't just, go sign a bunch of guys as long as you stay in a salary cap. Ours is very different because, I'm sure most people out there only have a few spots. And everybody doesn't become free agents at once, which is abnormal because now, okay, do you see a guy you like, but do you take him knowing that there's a very good chance there may be better players coming after spring going in the portal? So it's a lot, I think it's a lot more thought goes into it now than ever before. So, John, at the receivers, we have a lot of guys in and out, with small injuries. Obviously, Mingo and Braylon out with bigger ones. Mingo actually came back and did some individual stuff today. So it's kind of a lot of younger, newer faces out there. And so just trying to work best with what we have, because I think it will obviously look different in the fall. And you have a couple incoming guys that may play for you also. I think, Sam is playing well. Need him to be more consistent. He's, one of the most talented players on our team. So he could really be a great player, puts it all together. And, we have some other young guys, doing a good job, like Clowney, like Cedric. So, just spring gives opportunity for a lot. We run 2 fields, so there's tons of reps for everybody.
All right. I need to cut that off so the mix minus doesn't get me every time. Whenever I forget to do that, it gets ridiculous. Anyway, so you heard Lane Kiffin. You heard Jonathan Mingo. You heard Tavius Robinson. Mingo a little bit dinged up. Sounds like he's starting to come back, but that shows you the opening that somebody like Dannis Jackson had. And he sounds like he's making the most of it. It's also going to press Mingo to get back. If you look at, let's see, Tavius Robinson behind Sam Williams, they mentioned they need Sam to be more consistent. He's got all the talent in the world. But Tavius Robinson kind of fitting in there in the background. They also played him down a little bit last year, especially towards the end. I expect to see him playing down some this year. I think him and T. Tisdale kind of fit that same role. So you might see Tavius Robinson, even though he's not as big as T. Tisdale, going over there and playing that strong side defensive end, or defensive end if they're in a 3-4. So you have to understand, whenever it's 3-3-5 or 4-2-5, it basically is all reliant on what they're doing with the buck. If you look at the formation, it's very much an amoeba defense. If you're very stuck on what type of a defense are we running, this one will frustrate you. The answer of what type of defense this is running is one that is designed to get us the most amount of possessions back for the offense. That's the goal of this. They want explosive plays. They want lost yardage plays. They want turnovers. That's the important thing. Get the ball back to the offense and let them work. And as this goes on, it's going to start to become more focused. Now, you're going to have a situation where the defense might be in the 80s this year or 70s, a middling statistical defense. But if that defense is good at taking away and getting possessions for the offense, that's a good defense for us. This is never going to be an Alabama-style defense. The offense puts far too much pressure on the defense for it to be like that. Run the ball and time of possession and field position and all that. Like Nick Saban says, that's a good way to lose the game 30-16, because it doesn't work like that anymore. I mean, you have to be careful and you don't want to get stuck into that mindset. But what you have is a defense designed to get the ball back. You're going to see newcomers like Jacob Springer, who's having a good spring as well. Bradley Sowell reported on that as well. Little pick six the other day in shorts, but with him and Otis Reese patrolling the back of that defense, I mean, that's in good shape. Basically, one a star, one a strong safety. They're on opposite sides, and they're able to play games with each other. So basically what this is going to do, all these back-end players, is going to force confusion in the blocking schemes of the offensive line. Are they both coming? One coming? Because there's a situation where when Ole Miss sends 6, which they will this year, by the way. They absolutely will. You're looking at Jacob Springer, all-conference, American Athletic Conference player. Otis Reese, former top 45 recruit. Sam Williams, probably the best overall player on the defense, and the 3 defensive linemen. Now, you could drop a player into one of the middle zones and zone defense that and send 5. It doesn't matter. That's not the point. That causes confusion for the offense. Whenever you have Jacob Springer, who is very good at getting to the quarterback, I think he had 10 sacks his last season at Navy. Otis Reese is going to be the alpha dog of that defense. And then you just need the corners to stick up, A.J. Finley to stick up. He's not tasked with as much run responsibility. Last year he was asked to cover the run more than he probably needed to make up for the fact that playing star was Tylen Knight. Great player, 5'6" player. So you're going to see a little bit of flexibility with this defense and what they want to do. And with doing that, they should get better at getting the ball back for the offense. They won't shut down teams. It's not going to look like Alabama. It's not going to look like Georgia. That style of play is a recipe now for getting beat. So then if you win the possession game get 3 stops a game, 4 stops a game, you're probably in a pretty good position to win the game. And that's what this is all about, winning the game. It's not about stats. It's not about analytics. It's about winning the game. And this team could be in a position to do that. I think we had some injury situations with Gordon and Eiton. Something to keep an eye on as we go into the stadium this weekend. And I'm just really looking forward to what's going on. Whenever we get more practice highlights, obviously we will post them. Right now we still are going off the highlights from the 23rd because nothing else has been posted since then. So we'll give you a couple of minutes back. I want to thank you again. The North Alabama game postponed last night until next Monday, the Monday after the Florida series. Should be Monday, North Alabama, Tuesday, Alcorn State, and then Friday, Arkansas. So stick around for that. We're going to do an instant reaction with the Florida series, as always. And next week, the first recruiting show will air. You'll be able to see and interact with the show. That's the reason we're doing all this. And we might have another baseball show coming up. I don't know. We're very, very early in development of that. So another baseball show, I would prefer it be a kind of preview show, kind of a podcasty type episode done on video. But we'll see where that goes. And I believe Saturday also will have an instant reaction from the Saturday, I don't want to say scrimmage, Saturday practice. We'll just call it practice. So we've got a busy few days coming up for Positively Ole Miss and the Rebel Walk. So stick around for that. But thank you very much for watching. And of course, Hotty toddy.